Hello guys, hope you are doing well. So today we are going to create one web application, and that web application will be based on Node.js. And what we are going to do in that web application, we are going to have the restaurants, and we can rate the restaurant, and even we can add the new restaurant. Okay, we are going to create everything from scratch, zero level to the deployment. Okay, so we are going to cover everything. Let's first go through the web app that you are going to create. Okay, so let's say we have few restaurants. I can rate it. Let's say Domino's, I am rating it to, let's say, 4. So it will show me the so I got the notification on the top, and it is showing me the average rating after having 3 ratings. Okay. Similarly, I can rate other cafes. Burger King. Let's say I'm the first person to rate the cafe. I'll rate something. Let's say I'll rate 5. So if I submit it, and I'll see. Okay. Now I can add the new cafe also. Okay. Let's add the new cafe. I'm going to add a new cafe from, let's say I'm going to add Starbucks Mumbai, and let me just keep some mobile number. I don't know the mobile number of Starbucks, by the way. Okay, let me just put it something like 213. Okay, so I've added the Starbucks. Now I'm going to rate it. Okay, I mean, so that's the whole application that we are going to create, and you see it's live on a link. So ultimately we are going to do the deployment also. And the most interesting thing is I'm going to take the free live classes if you join the Discord, which is there in the description, so that if you have any question, query, doubt regarding this application, we will be able to solve it in the live sessions. Okay, so join the Discord also, and all the information, the Git repository, and everything will be provided. I'll make sure we'll make this project hand in hand. Okay, so what we are going to cover in this project, I'm just giving you some high level idea. So we are going to have a Node.js. We are going to learn the Node.js, and we are going to use .env to, for the environment variables and all. And we are going to have nodemon to, so that we can start the server automatically whenever we save our application and whenever we are going to make the changes. Okay, and then we are going to create a Git repository also. Okay, and link our project and deploy it ultimately. So Express.js is the framework that you are going to learn extensively. Then MongoDB you are going to learn. Then user session management. So like we are seeing the notification, the alert bar on the top, right? So that will be done by creating a sessions. Okay, so that will be very helpful. Okay, like whenever you are going to create login, logout, and these things. So we'll see all these things as well. And then we are going to use so many middlewares. Okay, the middlewares like body parser, then the session one. So these things, EJS, these things we are going to do. Then adding and rating the restaurants. These features we'll see how to create post route, get route, put route, delete route. Okay, but the main thing is you're learning the concept. You can build any kind of application once you learn this full stack project with this single video. Okay, and then we are going to create our Git repository. Okay, and we are going to put everything. We'll see how the deployment work. We'll put everything in a deployment related. I mean, we'll put everything on a link so that you can put this link in your resume, and you can show as a live link to the interviewer itself. Okay, but not just for the interviews, but it is actually very like useful for you, and like for your career in the tech. Okay, so see you, and yeah, enjoy the project. Thank you. Okay guys, so we have to start with our project now. Let's go to VS Code. We are going to use VS Code because we are having lots of good extensions here which will enhance our experience. Okay, so let's open one terminal here. Inside my inside document directory, I am going to create one folder. Let me just name this folder as uh, cafe node app. Okay, I'll just go inside this folder. By the way, for everything, I have created a to-do list. So whenever we do, so from starting to end, I have to mark the steps. Whenever we do something, I'll just mark it out. I have provided the links also with every step so that if there is any problem, any issue, we can just refer the link itself. Okay. So from the development to deployment, everything we are going to cover in the single project. Okay. So be with me, and I suggest you to do the things along with me. Okay. So that you can learn more by doing so. Okay, yeah, so we have been into the cafe node app folder now. Let me just open this folder as a project here. I'll just go to documents, Cafe Node app, select the folder. Now we are inside the folder, Cafe Node app. Okay. Okay. Let me just open the terminal again. Okay. Now, first thing first, we need to check if the node is installed, if the node is installed or not. So I'll just write node, then version, sorry, node v. So it is showing that I'm using node version, some version 2011.0. Any version is fine, but it should come. If no version of node is coming, then you have to install the node. Just go to the just go to the Google and just write install node. Okay. Then you can find from here itself, you can just go there and you can install the node, whatever you're using, Windows, Mac, or Linux. You can just go and you can install the node. Okay. I'm not going to again run all these things because I have already node installed in my PC. Okay. Anyways, now since the node is already installed, what I'm going to use, I'm going to create a folder that is git ignore. Okay. So what git ignore do, when I'm going to push my repository on the remote, okay, maybe on the GitHub, GitLab, or whatever, I don't want certain files to be included. Why I don't want those files to be included? I don't want those files to be exposed to other people like you, okay? Because it may have some sensitive information. We are going to see that. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. So we'll mention those files later on. Let's put more things to our project. That is, I have to do the git init, node init. So what node npm init will do? It will initiate a project for me, npm init. So it is going to ask few things from me. Let's see. I'll keep enter package name cafe node app. Okay, fine. Version 1.1. That is fine. Description. I'll write a description and a web app to where we can add new restaurant, new cafes, or review the cafes. Okay, so that is my description. Entry point, let's make it main.js. So entry point means whenever we are going to run a server, from where we are going to run. Okay. And test commands, let's skip it. Git repository, let's skip it as of now. Keywords, let's skip it. Author, I'll write my name, Vaibhav Goyal. License, let's keep MIT license. All okay, okay. So now you see a new package JSON is created. So our node project is now initialized. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, so I have done this create git ignore npm init. Now let's create a main.js, which is our main file from where that is the starting point, right? So I'm going to create a file main.js. Okay. Now, since it's a node project, we need to import few dependencies. So there is a list of dependency that we are going to use in our project. I can just show you all the dependencies that we are going to use. We are going to use all these dependencies. So one by one, whenever we are going to use, I am going to tell you how we are using it. But as of now, let's install all the dependencies all together. Okay, I'm just going to copy this command npm install. So I'm going to install express session, body parser, env, ejs, mongodb, mongoose, nodemon. Okay, these dependencies I'm going to install. So I'm just going to install all the dependencies all together so that we don't need to install it again and again. Okay. Yeah. So it will take few seconds to install. First dependency that is very important is Express. So Express, as the name suggests, okay. I mean, even if you see MERN stack, mean stack, Express is very important, right? Express, M-E, Mongo Express. Okay. So what Express is going to do? It is going to create a framework for us. Okay. It's a Node.js framework that we anyways have to import. Okay. So let's import it. And okay, so all the dependencies are now installed. So if you go to package.json, you will see all these dependencies installed here. See body parser .env, ejs, express session, mongodb, mongoose, nodemon. Okay, everything is now here in the dependencies. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go to main.js. So let's import express.js. Okay, so const, I'm just going to write express is equal to required then express. So that's how I have imported express, okay, for me. Now, in the similar way, now I have to use this express, okay? So we have to create one app, right? So I'm going to write const app and it will be express, okay? So these are the very basic things that you have to do whenever you have to start a node server. Then we have to uh, assign a port where we are going to run the server. So I'm going to write app.listen, the port name, let's say 4005. I'm putting any name, then the callback function. So whenever this port starts running, I will print some message for me. Console.log. I'm going to print, let's say, app is live on the port. What is the port? I'm going to put this port 4005. Okay. So as of now, we just have created one application where we have just, a simple server that we have created. Okay. Let me just run it. So to run it, I'm going to use npm run npm, then what is the name node, then this main.js. Okay, so to run this server, what we have to do, we have to go to package.json. We have to write a commands here. Okay, let me just write two commands here. One will be start. Okay, so start command. Earlier, what we used to do, earlier we used to call you know node, but now we are going to use nodemon. So what's the difference between node and nodemon? Nodemon is, like, even whenever we save our recent codes, okay, we don't need to rerun the server again and again. It will restart the server on its own. So that's the advantage of nodemon. So I'm going to put here, so that is a shortcut that we are creating. Start, whenever we are going to start, it will call this command automatically. So what command it is going to call? Nodemon main.js. Okay, main.js. Cool. Now I just have to call this command. What I have to call? npm run, then this command name start. So it is going to automatically call node1 main.js. Okay. So it is started. Now you see this message is coming. App is live on port 4005. Let me just make some changes here, and I'll just click on Control S. So it will automatically restart the server. So I'm just making a small change. App is live on the port, and I'm just putting some dots here. And if I save it, see, you see server is already started again. Okay, so that's the advantage I am getting by using the uh, this thing, right? Nodemon instead of node. Okay. Okay, now I don't want to hardcode the server like this. I'll just create a variable const port that will be equal to 4005. Okay, I'm just going to use this port variable here, and here also I'm going to use port again. Okay, so it's working fine. But again, this is not a good way, because what I want is actually, these things will change from user to user. I'm using port 4005. Let me just, if let's say tomorrow I'll put my code on GitHub and you clone the code, you may use some different port. So I want this variables to be set by user. Okay, so I'll put it in the .env file. That .env file which I was talking earlier, right, that we will put in, so let me just create a .env file. I'm going to define these variables there itself. Okay, so that it will change from user to user. Okay, so I'll just create a .env file, all small, and I'm going to define here for me the port, let's say 4005. Okay, all right. Yeah, now I'm just saving this, but how to export from there to here? For that we have to use .env. So remember that we have installed few, few dependencies. So one is .env, right? So .env we have to use here. So I'll use const .env. What it is going to do? I'm going to import it. Okay. .config. Now I can, get the things from, this .env. I have to use from the process module. I'm going to get it process.env, and then this variable name, which is what? Port. Okay, port. Cool. Let me just save and let's see. See, it's running fine, right? I'm getting this value from the .env file. Correct. Let's see on our, how it will look like. I can just open localhost. Sorry, localhost. Then I'm going to put 4005. Oh my God, why it is having, someone created a. Okay, let me just open it out. 4005. Okay. I'm not getting anything here, but we know that server is running. That's why I'm getting this thing, right? On the 4005. If I open 404, I'm not going to get anything because there is no server running here. But on 405, I am getting something, this, right? Cannot get slash. So we are hitting a get API on the, on the root directory. But since we have not defined anything, that's why we are not getting anything here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a basic, API. Okay, I mean basic get call I'm going to do. So I'm going to use here app dot get. Okay, so there are the get and post we are going to see. So what get will do? It will fetch the things for me from the server. Okay, so the root directory I'm calling. Okay, the root directory, that is slash, I'm calling. What it should do? It should do something, right? Request and response. I'm going to have request and response. So whenever we call a get directory, okay, whenever I'm going to call the root directory, it should do something. Okay, let me just do something. I'll In the response I'll send something like, let's say, hello world. Okay, let's save and see. Now I'll refresh it. I'll see hello world, right? It means it's working fine. I can give you more example. Okay, I'll just, make few more get calls. Let's say I'm just using something test. Okay, so I'm going to call test. Okay, so if I'm going to use slash test, let's see what is happening. I'm seeing this, right? So our APIs are working fine. Correct. Let me just remove this. It have no use. So as of now, we have created a simple server and it is performing the get operation for us. So I'll just, mark the things which is done. Main.js we have created, install dependencies we have done. Config, we have just added a command, right? Where we start command, which is node main.js, created a basic server, correct? All these things are done. I'll just complete this. Okay. Okay. We have created a basic route also, get route, correct? Okay. Now coming to the another interesting part, that is MongoDB. So we need a database to do the operations for us, right? We need a database, not right now, but in the future we'll be requiring a database. So MongoDB works very well with the Node.js. MongoDB is a NoSQL database. In the interviews, they can ask you lots of questions about, why we choose NoSQL database, what is the advantage of using NoSQL over the SQL databases. Okay, so you should know this kind of things before. Okay, anyways, now let's go to MongoDB. You can go to the official website of MongoDB. Okay, here we'll do everything step by step. Don't worry. Okay, now here we'll create our account, sign in, try free, whatever. We are going to use the free version only. Okay. Yeah. So we'll sign up. Okay. will I'll use Google sign up. Okay, I'm putting my from the Gmail. I'm doing the sign up. Continue. I'll accept the things. Submit. All right. It's setting up the things for me. Okay. What is the primary goal? Migrate, build a project and evaluate. I mean, I can put anything. Learn MongoDB maybe. Okay. Uh, how long have been using? Let's put new to MongoDB. Okay. Which programming language? I'll put everything is JavaScript here, right? Then what they're asking data. Okay, let's skip it out. What application is including? I'm putting not sure. Okay. I mean, you should put generic things. It's fine. Okay. And then here also, what kind of data will your project is going to use? Customer, sensor data, customer. Okay, let's put, location, user activity, customer, user profile data. Okay. All right. Let's finish. Again, these things doesn't matter. Okay. All right. I'm going to use the free one. Okay. Free database. The server, it's up to you. Mumbai is near to me. I'm going to use Mumbai. And I'll put my cluster name. Anything you can put. I'm going to put webhub cluster. Str. Okay. All right. Let's create it out. Okay. Now there is this important thing. You should remember. Okay. There is this, to password. I mean, from terminal also we have to use it. A password, username and password to enter in our database. So I'm going to use username as admin, password also as an admin. Okay. You can put anything, whatever you want. Okay. But remember it. Never. Okay. So they have put my IP address, okay? So that I mean from my IP address I can able to do the operations on the database, okay? Finish and close. Okay, so we have set up. Okay, then close. Now we have to connect it, right? We have to connect it. So to connect, we are going to connect it to using this thing. We have a extension in our uh, here itself. We have an extension. So if I go to extension, I'll download MongoDB. Okay. MongoDB for VS Code. I'll install it. Okay, let me install. So it is installed. You see the leave is there. So I have to connect it. Okay, I've already connected a database before. I'll just delete. Okay, I'll just connect a new database. Okay, just a second. So connect with a string. So there is an option to connect with a string. I'm going to use it, and I have to provide a string here that I have to use to connect. Okay, so let's find here where that string is. Uh, just a second. Database. Okay, so here we have the code. Here we have to change the password. So the user ID is admin. The password I have to put the password that is admin only, right? That's what we have decided, correct? So I'm going to put it here. I'm not. This is not required. Only the starting part is required. Password I'm going to put admin. Okay. Let's hit the enter. So it's showing connecting. Let's see once it is connected. So it is connected. Okay. I don't see anything else except admin and local. Now I'll create a new database for me. Okay. So new database I'm going to create. Let's name that database as okay. So all right. Now so browse collections. Okay. So in the collections I'm going to create a new database for me. So I'll just name the database as cafe data. Okay, cafe data and the collection name. So the cafe data is the whole database name. Let's say we are going to have several things in a cafe database. Let's say user table, or let's say the the post script table and the cafes table. So many things, right? So many databases we can have. So let's define a single database as of now. I'll define the database name as I'll give some generic name, that is objects. Okay, let's create it. So a new database is created for me, cafe data, and it is having a table name as objects. Okay, so basically collections is the you know uh, table name. Okay, okay, all right. So this is something we have done. Now I'll just cut it out. Okay, now we have to connect this thing to our project. Okay, the cafe data, uh, we have to connect it to our project. So what I'm going to do, I am going to again I'm going to create a new folder, that is config. In the config, I am going to create a new file, that is db database. Okay, I'm just putting the name from just db connection config.js. Okay, now in this file, what I'm going to do, I am going to put the details that which is required to connect the from this database. Okay, so I mean so let's write const mongoose. So mongoose, if you remember, we have installed we have in the starting we have installed mongoose also. Okay, so which will be equal to require mongoose. All right, and then we are going to use const db connection. I'm just writing the names. Okay, I mean you can use your own names also. Since now try to focus what I'm saying. Okay, this kind of functions that we are going to write, it may take time. Okay, few milliseconds to get the information from the database, right? From the functions that ever whatever we are going to fetch from the database, it may take time, right? So that's why we use async await thing with it. Okay, so see how we use async await. So this will become very normal to you once you start using it. So async means this function can have the waiting also. Okay, so since we are using async await, we have to use try and catch block. Okay, so I'm going to write const connect, and that will be equal to await. Now we are going to hit the mongoose. Okay, mongoose dot connect. Here I have to pass. So there is a way to connect. Okay, if you see overview, in the starting also we have seen that there is a way to connect. So I'm going to use it. So I'm going to put the whole string here. Sorry, control Z. I'm going to put the whole string in the inverted commas. Here you have to make few changes. That is password. You have to make the password whatever password we have decided, admin. And before the question mark, we have to put the database name. So what is the database name here? Tell me guys, what is the database name? So database name, okay, let me just show you the database name that we have decided. Our database name is cafe data. Okay, so I'm going to put that cafe data underscore data. All right, then I am going to use okay, so that's how we connect. Okay, I'll just now since once it is connected, I should see some message. Okay, in my log. So I'll just print the message here that database connected, and I should show the name of the database which we have connected. Okay, why? Because we should know that we are connected with the uh, correct database, right? So I'll put connect connection dot host. All right. Also, I'm going to put connect connection name, so it will going to give me the name also for the this database. Okay, connect connections dot name. All right. Okay, so that is a try block. In the catch block, I should, throw some error. In the catch block, I'm going to throw an error. So let me just console the error, console.log. I'm going to put the error, failed to connect with database, with database. Okay, all right. And then I'll just exit this process by using exit one. Okay, now the whole module we have to export. Okay, so how I'm going to export? I'm going to use module dot exports is equal to this thing I have to give, right? DB connections. All right, we have created our whole configuration for the database to connect. Now, what I'm going to do, I am going to I'm going to call it, right? So from where I have to call it, I have to call it from our main file. So here, what I'm going to do, I first have to get it, right? So const, I'll just give some name, DB. Okay, I'm giving a short name. You can give name according to whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to export it. So which is config in the from this current directory to config to DB connections config. Okay, then uh, I'm going to invoke it. So I'm going to use uh, DB. So we are running it. Okay, let's run and see what will happen. App is live on the port and then database is connected. So this line is printing, right? Database is connected and we are seeing the name of the database also, right? Which is cafe data, right? Correct. So we have successfully connected our database. Okay. Now let's go here and I'll mark the things which is done for me. Setup, create cluster database, connected database to project. Okay. Now we have to decide the schema that we need. Correct. Uh, just a second, guys. Okay. Just a second. All right. Let's create the schema now. So schema means like how kind of blueprint for my data. So let's say I'm going to store the things in my database. So what things I'm going to store in my database? One is the cafe or the restaurant name, his mobile number, and so what we want to show to the user, okay, on the front page, we want to show the total number of reviews that restaurant got and the average rating. So what you think I should, have in my, database? So let's first, create the folder where I'm going to store the schema. So I'm going to name that folder as model and then schema. So I'm going to create a file model.js. By the way, we should give the folder name as models because we may have more, more schemas in the future. So I'm going to give it the rename it to models. Yeah. Now just, I'm trying to think loudly. Okay. What things we may needing. So one is the name. Second is the phone number. Third, I want to show the average rating. Okay. So for the average rating, I need the sum of all the rating, right? Sum of all the rating. Sum of all the rating. And total number of ratings, right? All right. So I guess this is fair enough to store right now. So I'm going to create a, again, I'm going to export Mongoose. Mongoose is equal to require. Okay, I'm going to get Mongoose. And then let's create the schema. Okay, so I'm going to create const. Uh, let's name it as object schema, which will be equal to Mongoose dot schema. And let's define these things. One is the name. So we have to, define the structure. So name should be of which type? String, obviously. So I'm going to put string. And we also have to put the flag if it is required or not. So I'm going to put required as true. By default, it will be false. So I have to use it to make it true. Similarly, I'll put the things for the phone number also, and that will be string of course, right? Then third will be what? Third will be, let's name it something meaningful. I'm going to give it name as review sum. Okay, review or rating sum, right? Up to you. Review sum. What will be the type of the review sum? It's a number, right? Number. And then the third, the last one, which will be review count, right? All right. So this is done. I'm going to close it and I'm going to export it, right? This module. So module dot export is equal to mongoose. Okay. So again, you should remember these things, or even if you don't remember, you can find, the documents over the internet. Now I'm going to name it. Okay. The name of the collection that I have used, right? So I have created a collection with the name of what? Objects. Correct. So it's always here, it will be plural, okay, because we are going to store so many objects here, right? I mean, even if I put it users objects whatever, right, it will be plural here. So I'm going to write singular here, okay, so that will be object. It will automatically map it to the their objects, okay. So don't get surprised, okay. Even if I create a new uh, even if I put a new name here, let's say I'm going to put here user, so automatically it will create users table in the, I mean, it will add a new, you know uh, collection here with the name of users, okay. So don't get surprised with this thing, okay. So I mean, this is the how, like they have designed the things, okay. I mean, there you have some flags you can set to make it, false also. I mean, if you don't want to do that, but I'm going with the actual things, okay. So this is done now, okay. I'm saving it out. I just saved it. So okay, now let's go and see how we have created the schema also. So I'm going to take this schema thing and set up MongoDB also, correct? So far we have created a folder, we have initialized get ignore, we have done the npm init main.js, install dependencies, config package json, created a basic server. Now one more thing, guys. Just see this. Uh, I mean, this is very logical thing. If you see here, I'm putting a string which is, it will depend from user to user. Let's say tomorrow you are going to copy the code. You are not going to use the same string, right? So I'll put this also in the environment. Okay, I'm going to put this also in the environment so that I mean, it should be configurable to you also. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to define a variable. I'm just going to copy it. I'm just going to copy it here in the environment. I'll just name it something, connection string, and I'm going to put this thing here. Okay, sorry. All right, I'm going to put it here, and instead of I'm just going to call this connection string. Okay, you can rename it like database connection string, or which makes more sense to you. But anyways, okay. Still, we can save and see it's running fine. Okay, it crashed because of some reason. Failed to connect with database. Did I did anything wrong here? Connection string. Uh, it seems correct only, but let's see where we have done, if we have done anything wrong. Connection string. Mm, mm, mm. Let me just check it out, guys. So we are calling this connection string. It should ideally work. Let's see where we are doing the things wrong. Okay, so we can't just call it, right. We have to use process.env like we have called the port also, right? Let me just save and see. Okay, server is working fine. Okay, so okay, anyways, yeah. Now, so having said that, we have covered these things. Now, let's create a first post route. Post route means I am going to send some information. The client is going to send some information to the server, which server can store in the database, right? So let's first create a middleware. Middleware means which will execute, and it will it will do something in middle. Okay, so let's say a user is passing something. Okay, a user is passing a raw data, and this middleware, what it will do, it will convert it into a JSON file. So I have to use this middleware because from the user end, I'm going to pass a raw data, so it will convert it into a JSON format data. Okay, so let me just go to main.js. Here I'm going to put my middlewares. Okay, so I'm going to use use dot sorry app dot use express.json. So yeah, so we are going to add so many middlewares as we move ahead. We are going to use many middlewares. Anyways, now let's create a post request. So we'll create a simple post request, but before that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the routing. So what is routing? Routing means if I'm going to do everything here, then what will happen? It will make my code, the code will not look good. So instead, I am going to do everything in a different file. So I'm going to create that folder, which will, here only, I'm going to create a different folder with the name of routes. Okay, routes. And this folder will have, I'm going to define, so again, you can have many routes here, but I'm just having a single route. Okay, here we can put all our routes. So again, it depends from the service that we are creating. Let's say I'm creating a very big service, let's say similar to Facebook. I will have so many routes. One is for one route will be taken care, will take care of the users. Okay, creating users, deleting users, everything. One route will be there for um, posts, which will take care of likes, dislikes, and everything. Okay, anyways, so I'm going to create the route. Let's first see what is the use of routes. Okay, so uh, let's say I am going to use a prefix again and again. Let's say that prefix is slash. Okay, in my thing, I'm going to use slash again and again, and then I'm going to have other things along with the slash. Let's say slash add. Let's say slash slash user delete. What so many things along with that. Okay, with a common prefix. In the URL, if I'm having a common prefix, so we are going to use a route for that prefix. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to again import express. So const express, which will be equal to require. Okay, then const router, which will be equal to express dot router, and I'm going to export it. So how to export? Module dot exports. Okay, now we have created this router. Good. Now we have to give the command here, right? That okay. So whenever you see this slash URL, whatever prefix, then you have to move here. So I have to give this command to the our you know our server, which is the main server, right? We have to give this command here. So I'm going to give the command here itself instead of doing. Okay, we'll remove it later on, but let me just give it here. So again, it's a middleware, right? So I'm going to use it here. App.use. So this slash, all the slash, I'm going to redirect it to the route that we've created. There we can create so many, get, push, get, put, post, everything. Okay. So I have to use this require, then, this path, which is dot slash routes slash. You can put route.js also, route also work. Okay, they don't need the extension sometimes. Okay, I mean all the times. Okay, now here I'm going to create the route. So I'm going to use it here, router dot get I'm going to use this command, whatever things that we use there, I'm going to use this here only. So you see this thing as a whole, I'm going to use here. Control C on the router I'm going to use. Okay. So let me just save it and let me just delete this now. It's of no use. Okay. I'll show you the use case. Don't worry, guys. Okay. Okay. Let me save both the files. I saved one file only. That's why the error is coming. Let me just see. Get is not defined. Okay. I have to use here router.get. Okay. Let me just save. Okay. The server is started now. Now I'll just do the showcase to you. So let me just take a very basic example. I'll just put here, let's say ABC, and I'm going to put here DEF. Okay. So essentially, what is happening when I'm going to call ABC slash DEF, then this route will be hit because once we call ABC, it will know, okay, I have to go to this route. And here I'm calling, so along with the ABC DEF, let me just call it for you. Okay. ABC slash DEF. Let me just enter. So I'm saying hello world, right? So we can create so many routes with the prefix of ABC. Okay. I mean, I can create here other routes also. Let's say ABC, then XYZ. So that's how routes work. But anyways, I don't want this. I want the routes from the root directory from the slash, and let's create here this route. Okay, the basic one, which is the slash route, right? So it is working fine. Let me just show you. If I go to root directory, I am seeing this, right? Hello world. Fine. Okay. Now I am going to create a post request for me. So for the post request, let's see what we mean by post request. Post means I am going to get the value from the user and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Okay. So I'm going to create router dot post, then the you know the path for the API. I mean, I'll just give the path as uh, you know add. Okay, a simple name add. I mean, so again, these things depends on you. Whatever name you want to give, I'm just giving a simple name that add. So what this will do? Okay, so let's create the things for this add. Okay, now I'll just use request response. Whatever response we are getting from the I mean from the let's say whatever is there in the request, because since we are sending the data, it will be in the request. So let me just console the request thing for you. Okay, console.log request. I'll just put maybe request.body. Okay, let's see what is the data that we are going to get when on this thing we are passing something. Now the thing is, to test this route, I need Postman. So similar to Postman, we have Thunder client also. Okay, which is there in the VS Code itself. So I'm not going to use Postman. Instead, I'm going to install Thunder client. Okay, so that I don't have to switch the tabs. Thunder client, correct? Let me just install it. Okay, now it is installed. So we can test the things here itself. Okay, new request. So where we are running the things on the local host, here we are running, right? So localhost. Now this is a post request I'm going to make at add, right? And in the body I have to put anything, right? So in the body I'm going to put name. Okay, let me just write the name, some cafe name. Okay, let me just put Domino's, and then the phone number. You know the phone number of Domino's? I don't know. I'll just put some string 1800 231 123. Okay, I'm going to send it now. See what will happen. Okay, let me just send it. Cannot post. We got some error. Okay, we got some error because I haven't saved it. Okay, let me just save it. Now I'll try to post it again. So you see, I got the logs. These logs I got, right? Uh, I did this console log, right? So I got this name and the phone number. We got this, correct? Now, okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to, with this data, I want this data to be pushed in the database, in the schema that I've created, okay? For, we have created the schema, right? Model. We have created where we are going to store the name, phone number. Whenever, I mean, a user will, enter a new restaurant. I mean, they want to, put a new restaurant on my site. The initial review, some will be zero, review count will be zero as well. So I want this data to be pushed here, right? So we need to import this schema first. So how to import it? I'm going to go to okay, I'm going to go to my routes. I need to, get this const object. You can name it anything. You can even name it as cafe or whatever that suits you, okay? Which will be equal to required. Then where it is, one directory up, then models, then model, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'll create a user out of it, okay? So now the thing is, again, it's a database call, right? We are going to put the things on the database. So I have to use async await, okay? Async here and then await. So since I'm going to use await, so I have to use try here and then catch. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new const cafe, which will be equal to what? New, this object, right? That we have, which is equal to a schema that we have, right? New object. Now here, now in this object, I have to define everything, right? Whatever is there in the model. Name, phone, review sum, review count, correct? So name will be what? It will be equal to this request dot body dot name, correct? We have seen like this is the dot name, right? Similarly, phone will be what? Request dot body dot phone and review sum. Okay, so review sum I'm going to make it as 0. In the starting it will be 0, right? And review uh, count will be 0 as well. It will be 0 as well, correct? Now I have to save it, right? This thing. So I'll use await because it's a database call I'm making, right? So cafe dot save. Again, these are things are in the documentation how you can do the queries and all. But once you start using it, you will get used to it. Okay. Now we can put some message for my confirmation. Console.log saved a new cafe. I can put the name of the cafe. I mean, new cafe, the whole model. I'll put here. It's fine. Just to test. In the catch, I can just throw an error. Throw, or maybe we can console also. It's totally fine. Okay. It's up to you. I'll just, console here. Error in saving. Okay. Error while saving, while adding. Okay. A new cafe. All right. Or you can put the this thing also response status and these things matters. Okay, like if you are designing the production level code, you should put the response dot status. You have to throw the error. Okay, but anyways, we'll do the things later on. I'll just just save it. I'll just hit the request again. Okay, the same request. So it is now saved. You see, saved. This is saved. Why it is still processing? Because I'm not doing anything here. I can do things here. I can do what? I should do this thing. Response.send this data. I can send it, again. I can send this data cafe, or I mean, I should not do anything, but I'm just showing you, this processing, why it is happening. So anyways, now if I'll add something new here now. Let me just add maybe Pizza Hut, some phone number different. So I'll make 111. Okay, I'll just send it. See, so we got the response because that's what we sent, right? So now if I go to my database, I'll see these things to be added. Okay, in this table itself, I'll see these things to be added. Let me just refresh it. In the objects, two databases, right? One is Pizza Hut, second is the Domino's that is now added, right? Correct. So far we have created a route having a post query. Uh, okay, so that's what we have done till now. If you make some mistake here, it will throw the error, okay, because that will go to the else catch part, okay. So let's go to our plan again on the Notion, what we have created. Added middleware Express.js, added a post out. See, I've created the, these things also for you so that, you can refer this code. Okay. And use Thunder clients to test. So this whole module I'm marking as completed. Okay. All right. Now let's do one thing. Okay. Let's do one thing, guys, that, in the get we are not getting anything. Now let's fetch the data because now we have the database and even it have some data is stored in it. So I'm going to fetch it here. So I'm going to call const cafes. Again, name is up to you, whatever you want you can give. Now again it's a database call, so I'll use async await, async here, and then since it's a call, so I have to there is no option. There is one option actually. So you can use, if you are making a database call and the try and catch don't work with you, what I suggest is, you should, there is async handler, okay, express async handler that also you can use. Again, these things I'm just telling to you. Once you develop the whole project, you should try to enhance it, okay? So anyways, try. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make the call const cafes. So I'm going to have all the cafes here. So I'll just use this thing object dot find. So it is going to find me everything, correct? Now what I'm going to do, so let's say I'm having the list of cafes with me. I'm going to show you, okay? Let's show to you. So what I'm going to do, response dot send. Let's see the list. I know it will not look good there on the uh, browser, but let's see, okay? Let's see. I have to put await here, right? And else what I'm going to do, sorry, catch. I'll just put some error, uh, console.log error while getting values from database. Okay, let's save and let's go to and see, these values. Since you see, we have got the JSON format. One is this Domino's, second is for the Pizza Hut, correct? Makes sense till now? Okay, let's move ahead now. Uh, okay, so what I'm going to do, let's see. So we have done this get request to get the added data from the database, correct? Now we will see the concept of EJS, embedded JavaScript. It's very useful, EJS, because till now we are not able to see the, the values in the format that we want, right? I want a good HTML page here where I can use these values, correct? But I'm not able to do that right now. Why? Because there is no way I can connect my backend with my front end. So here comes the concept of EJS. Okay. So we'll set up the EJS. So how to set up the EJS? I have to, in the starting, we have imported, installed the EJS, right? So I have to use this thing, apt set view engine EJS. Okay, let me just do it on my server, on my main JS. So this is a, I'm going to use it here, app set EJS. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do, so let's first understand how the EJS works. So remember this thing. If you want, you know, there is this thing actually. Things are defined already in the, this framework, the Express framework, that, the EJS file should be in the views only. So there is a folder that you have to create with the name of views. Here inside this folder, I'll create a file. Okay, let me just create a home.ejs. It's similar to HTML file only. Okay, it's literally similar to HTML file. Okay, now I will show you the value dynamically here. So what I'm going to do, uh, this file home.ejs, I'm going to call from here. In the get, what I'm going to do, I am going to use res.render, rendering. Okay, where I'm going to render the data in the home. Okay, so I'm just going to write home. Okay, it's fine because uh, again, I told you, right, things are already defined in this framework. It will try to search this home.ejs automatically in the view, in the views. Okay, in the views only, it is going to search the uh, this thing. Okay, now what I'm going to send here, so that depends on me. So I'm going to send the title. Okay, I'm just putting something. Okay, let me just put some title, homepage. Okay, let's save. So I'm sending in the home. Okay, now I have this thing here, so I can use it. So title, I can put this title essentially. Okay, I mean, I have this thing. So once I'll call the get request, it will redirect me to this home.ejs, and it will show me this page. I mean, in the browser, it will show me this page. Now I can put the things on my own. So to put the things, the variables, I have to use, there is some, syntax of EJS that we have to use. So you can download those, there is a extension again to, which will help you. So I'll just put EJS out. I mean, it's a syntax. So I can put this kind of things, opening angular bracket, percentage sign, equals to, and then I'll just put the name of, the thing that we have passed. If it is there, then it will show me. Okay. In the body also, let me put something. Okay, I'll just put some more thing here. Uh, I'll just put something. Okay, message. I'll just put something here. We have to use comma. Uh, Hello guys. Okay, let me just save, and I'll just get this thing also. So I'll just use h1 here. Uh, I'll just use here message. So if I save it, I'll get these things. Okay, so once I'll go again and I'll call this API. Okay, in the browser, it will automatically go to home.ejs and along with these things. Okay, so let's do that. Hello guys, and if you see the title also, it's a home page, right? So those two things I've set dynamically from the backend. Correct, I can pass so many variables, vectors, whatever I want. Okay, from the by doing so. So let's pass something which makes more sense. What I can pass, I can pass this thing, right? The cafe's data I got. Correct, I can pass this. So I'll show you in the table format. Okay, let's create a table. So these are the basic commands that we are going to use, guys. Okay, I mean, I expect that you should know. I'll just first put the heading. So a heading will be, let's say, I'll put something in the heading. So suggest me a good heading for this. I mean, again, the headings and all doesn't matter at the end, but I mean, it should be consistent with what we are doing. Correct. I'm just thinking a good name. Uh, Maybe we can put the name as my cafe homepage, my cafe home, or something. Okay, Then a table I'm going to create. In the table, so I'm going to show few things. What I'm going to show? First, table head, here table row. In the table row, there will be th. So serial number, name, correct? Serial number, name, phone number, and then other things, which is average rating, then total number of reviews that each restaurant is having, and the our actions. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, correct? So that will be ID. Okay, I'm just putting things. Name, sorry, phone, average rating, uh, total reviews, total ratings. Total ratings means count, okay, rating count. And then our action. I mean, what actions we can take, okay, actions. Okay, let's put a dummy data here for you. I'll put a dummy data, t body, tr. This is table row, okay, table data. So I'll put some dummy data here for you. Td, 6 things I have to put, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll put 1. Okay, I'm just putting the ID or something. Then the name of the restaurant. Let me put something. Famous cafe of Hyderabad. Put Emmy's Cafe. I mean, not famous, but I like it. And then phone number. I don't know the phone number. And then average rating. I'll put average rating as 4.8. Total number of reviews that this restaurant have. Let's say 312 reviews. Okay, and actions. So what action the user can take? Okay, so I'll put one action that is rate now. Okay, rate now. I mean, even user can rate whatever the user is seeing. Okay, so that will redirect it to somewhere, hashtag, and then it should have the rate now. Rate now. Okay, let's see this page now. Okay, home.ejs, how it is looking. So we are seeing cafe home, ID, name, phone number, average rating, total rating, action. I know it's a static page, it's not working, but we'll do something, okay? Don't worry. And I will make the things in the center maybe because I don't like it to be on the so I'll put style text align center. Okay? I mean again normal thing. Don't worry, we'll have a best UI, okay? I'm going to use ChatGPT at the end to improve the UI. I don't like to work on the UI and all, but I'll show you, how you can improve your UI. We'll make a good UI out of it. Okay, don't worry. We'll use so many things and we'll make a good UI. Okay. Anyways, okay. Now I want this data to be, not static. I want this data to come from, like I'm going to pass this data here. Uh, I'll remove this message. It's of no use. I'm going to pass this thing, the cafes. Okay. So as a data, I mean, again, you can name it as cafes only, or you can name it any variable. But remember, this variable we are going to use, okay? Not this variable. This variable we are assigning. You can name this variable anything, okay? So this will have the list of all the cafes, okay? I'll save it. Yeah. Now I want to use it, right? So what I'm going to do, again, like the way we used here, I need to write a for loop which will put all the things, okay? So again, EJS for. There is a for each also that you are going to use. So I'm going to use for loop only. In the array, I'm going to write whatever with which thing we are having data, right? Data. So I'm going to write data. Now I'm going to copy the whole thing. Control X. So serial number that which will be index only, right? This index plus one I'll give as a serial number, index plus one, because index is starting from 0. You can't do it like this. You have to put it in the brackets like this, right? Anyways, this is something that I have to do. I'll put this thing for everything. EJS out. All right, so rating, this will be index plus one. This will be what? The name will be what? From here, I'm going to get right data index dot name. Here, this thing, phone number is also again data index dot phone. Average rating. So average rating will be what? Total rating. So I mean rating sum upon rating count, right? But what if in the starting it will be zero, right? Rating count will be zero in the starting, right? So if I divide it by zero, it will create a issue. It will, it will give some things. So let's see it later on. And this thing, which is the total number of ratings this restaurant have received, I'll put here as this thing. Okay, this thing only. That is dot rating count. Correct. Review count. Sorry. This is what we have designed in the our models, right? Review count. Correct. Let's print this as of now. Let's see how the things are working for me. Okay. So we got Domino's phone number, Pizza Hut phone number, ID, average rating. We haven't decided yet. This link is also not working. It's just a hash. Okay. I should do something. Okay. I mean, for this. So I'll put a if condition here. I'm going to put a if condition that, if the review count is zero, then I'll put something like, let me just write EJS if. So I'm going to put a condition that, this thing is zero. Then what I'm going to print, I'm going to print not yet rated, not yet rated. Okay, cool. And I'll add the else also. In the else, what I'm going to do, in the else, I'm going to give the value, which is, let me just write the value here, which will be division of this total sum, review sum. Correct. And then I have to close this also, correct? The else thing also have to close. So I'll use this thing, percent close percent. Okay, I'll put it here. Okay, I guess this makes more sense now. Correct. Not yet rated. If this is count zero, else I'm going to print this, right? Which is total sum of, this is the average, right? Anyways, let me just save and see now. It should be zero because we haven't rated any restaurant yet. So both are zero, correct? Okay. Now, so let me just see now. Uh, we have done the EGS setup, basics EGS also we have seen. Render get data on the home page that we have done just now. All right. Now, similar way for the post request that we have used. Okay, right now I'm using this thing here, this Thunder client to send the data. Instead of that, I should send data from a form. I should have a form. Okay, and that form should send the data, right? So I'll create a form. Okay, so you see, this, we have this post. So we should have a form, and that form should, work, like we should, like let's say I want to add a new cafe. So I'll use a form. Okay, I'll use a form on the EJS. Let me just, create a form for me. So I'm, going to create a new file, which is, let me just create. Uh, I'll name the file as add cafes. Okay, add cafe.ejs. Document. Again, I'll get it dynamically. See, I'm getting, when I'm writing EJS, I'm getting some suggestions, right? Because I've downloaded a plugin. You can also download that extension here. Okay, just write EJS, you'll find that extension. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to get the title and let's create a form. Okay, I'll just name it as add a new cafe. I'll use the form. Now you see the form have two things. One is action, second is method. Those are very important. Action means since we have defined our post request, right? I mean, I have defined my post route like this. Here is this is a post request. Whenever I'm going to click on that form, it should hit the post request. And here I have to mention this path, correct? So I'll use this path add, okay, and the method will be post. Okay, so we'll have two inputs. One is right now once when we are adding the cafe, I don't require the reviews and rating because that will eventually be done, once it will be displayed on our front page. Right now I'm just adding the cafe. So type will be input type will be text, okay, and the name, which is very important, name will be name means once we get the object, okay, once we click on post we get an object. So this will store the actual value, okay, this name tags, okay. So I'll just give it as name because we are storing the name, okay. Placeholder, enter cafe's name, okay. I'll just put something, enter the cafe's name, and it is required, okay. Similarly I'll ask to enter the phone number also, enters the cafe's phone number, okay, and it should be referred by phone, correct. Now I'll use the submit button, okay, button, add cafe, uh, and button type should be submit. Now when we'll get this at cafe.ejs, okay, again we need a get route, okay. So get route, what it will do, whenever we click on, I mean whenever we access, trying to access the link that is localhost 4005/add, it should rendered here, okay. So let's do that, which is very easy. I'll just create a get route, a simple get route, router dot get, where it should be /add, right. See the difference, it's a get and post, right, both are different. Then I'll have request response. Here we are not going to make any DB call, database call. That's why I'm not using async await anything. I'm just going to do what? Response.render, where I'm going to render it add cafe. Add cafe. And this value I can pass it one thing I'm using here, right, which is title. So I can pass it title, which is what? Add a new cafe. Add new cafe. Okay. Also, let me just give this button here also on the home page. In the bottom, I'm going to give this button, add a new cafe, okay? So that, from here also user can go. I'm going to use add a new cafe. Okay, so let's run it now. What is happening? Let's see. There is this button, add a new cafe. I'll click here. Okay, I got this page, right? Because of the get request, I got this page, correct? On the It will hit the get request because I'm using /add, and it will redirect us to the that cafe add cafe.ejs, right. I'll enter the cafe's name. Let me just enter it out. I'll enter the cafe's name. Let's say Haldiram. I'll put the phone number of Haldiram, and I'll click on add cafe. You see it's loading, it's not working. Now let's see. I know the reason why it's not working, but I want to debug for you because so that you'll get a pretty much idea. So let me just go to the post route. Where is the post route? Here, right? So we are going to get this value, right? Request body name, request body phone number. Maybe these are not coming. That's why we are seeing this issue. Let me just console this for you. console. I'll console one thing for you. Okay, I'll just go to console. Uh, Name. I'll just put this thing. Let's see if we are getting the name, from there. I'll just run it again. So I'll just put name Haldiram or anything. Okay, I'll add. Now let's go and see what is happening. It is showing error while adding. Okay, it is showing me error while adding. Correct. It means we are directly here. Correct. Yeah. Uh, okay. Now let's cut it and let's try to put it here. I just want to show you, okay, that we are not getting this name itself. Just a second. Console.log. I have to put, sorry. Okay. I just want to show you that we are not getting this body request body.name itself. Let me just show you out. I have to rerun the server. Yeah. Yeah. See, the name is undefined, right? We tried to edit. It is showing undefined. I'll try to edit again for you. Okay, let me just rate now. Oh, sorry, not rate now. Add a new cafe. I'll just put something. Let's say Bikaner wala. Some phone number of Bikaner wala. Add. It's not. Let's see again what is coming. It's again showing undefined. Name is undefined because whenever we are passing something from the form, it is not in the JSON format. So we have to convert it in the JSON format. So to convert it into JSON format, we have to use middleware body parser. We have to use body parser. Okay, so I'll just copy these two things. This is a middleware body parser. Okay, remember in the starting we have install body parser. Okay, so I'll just put it here, body parsers. Okay, it's a middleware. I need to define this body parser. Okay, here itself I'll const body parser is equal to required. Okay, let me just save now and let's try to do it again. Okay, let me just do it again for you. I'll refresh, add a new cafe. I'll just enter Haldiram, okay, and the phone number, add cafe. Now, if you see here, just a second. Okay, still there is some issue. Let me just see what is happening. Mm, we'll go to the main.js. We'll see the body parser is working. I'll put it above it. Okay. Sometimes we have to put the things in a, wrong, right way. Okay, now it's working. Okay. Yeah. So, you see, now it is, working fine. So what I'll do I'll, once the request is saved, what I'm going to do, once we have saved the things, then I am going to, I'm not going to do this. Instead, I'm going to redirect it to the home page again. Okay. Response dot redirect home page. Okay. Let me just run it again for you and let's see, how the things are working. Okay. Uh, okay. So we are here. Okay. See, Haldiram is now added already because that request is done. Okay. Let me just add Bikanrewala now. I'll just put Bikanrewala's phone number. Not this big. Add. So it's added, right? I can add more cafes to it. I'll add maybe, let's say, uh, you know, any cafe which is famous. Let's say Friends Cafe. Phone number of Friends Cafe. Let's say 9999 and add. It's added, correct? Now I'm seeing my cafes. Now thing which is left is the rate now, correct? So now we are going to see how we can, rate the cafe. So again, if we are rating the cafe, it means we have to update, right? Because we have to go to that database and we have to update the thing. Okay, so we are going to do that. Okay, now to do this rate now thing, okay, so it should be a dynamic link, okay, because once we click on rate now, it should go to a specific get route which will show the information for this cafe, right? So you see one thing, whenever we store a data, it have one unique ID, okay, it have one unique ID. This unique ID we can get by using uh, it is also there, okay. So if you see the page that we have created, home.ejs, I have this thing right with me, so I'll create a route for this. So I'm going to create rate slash, I am going to put this value, okay, the ID. So for that specific ID, uh, so I'll let me just put the ID, which is ID, okay. What it is going to do, it will try to, once I click here, it will try to access this link. I mean, this get request is not defined yet. I'll define this get request first. Okay. Let me just define this get request here in the routes. Router dot get. Okay. So that rate slash. Now this is a, you know, uh, this is something that we are going to get is this thing. Okay. This is a variable ID. Okay. I mean, this will change obviously for different you know restaurant, it will change. So it's a generic ID we are going to put, and this ID value I'm going to retrieve. Okay. So uh, again, we are going to do the database call. So I have to use async await, async request response. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to store this ID somewhere. So const is equal to const ID is equal to. So this ID I'm going to get from the from this request itself, right? Request dot params dot ID. So ultimately, I have this ID in my hand. Okay. Once I have this ID with me, okay, I can show you this ID console.log ID. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let me just show you this ID to you. So what I'm going to do, we have saved this also. So if I click on any of this thing, okay, let me just refresh. I'll just click on Bikaner wala. Okay, it is not going to do anything because that route is not defined yet, obviously. Okay, if you see, like, uh, if you see this, like source code of it, inspect or something, uh, it is showing this, right? This is the ID actually, right? If you go to the database also, it is the ID for the Bikaner wala. Okay, let me refresh the database. It's not refreshed. So this is the ID for Bikaner wala actually, right? If you see Bikaner wala, ID is matching, right? 6 5 whatever, right? BD at the end. Same ID is there. Now if you see our log also, it is having this, right? I have just fetched it, right? Because I have called this route here, right? Right? Get this ID I'm getting here, right? Anyways, anyways, I'll not, I'll just stop this call because it's not doing anything, right? So what I'm going to do now, I have my ID with me. Now I can get the whole data, right? If I'm having the ID for certain data, I can get the whole data. So I'm going to use try uh, const cafe. So this cafe will be what? Await uh, object find by ID. There is a method find by ID. I'll just pass this ID. So I'll get this. Okay. Cafe. Now once I get this cafe, I'm going to pass these details to a page that I'm going to create now. So I'm going to create a page where I'm going to pass these things. So request response dot render. I'll just name this page as rate cafe. Okay. And I'm going to pass what? I'm going to pass this title. Title title rate cafe. Okay, and I'm going to pass this object also that I got, cafe. Okay, so let's name it as cafe only, and I'll pass this. Okay, cool. This is what I'm going to do with the with this request. Now I need to create this, right? Rate cafe.ejs. I have to close this also. Sorry, uh, I did some mistake with this thing. Okay, I have to add the catch block also. Catch. See, since we are explicitly calling the links itself, right? From the links, I am not checking if the cafe exists or not, right? I mean, I'm not doing so many things, but again, you have to check if the cafe exists or not. Okay, these things you have to check. Anyways, so I'll just console something here. Console.log. Some error occurred. Some error occurred while getting the data of cafe. Something. I'm just putting something. Okay, I'll just save it out. Okay, now let's create this rate cafe. Okay, in the views, I'm going to create this .ejs. Okay, title again. Now, what I'm going to do, uh, okay, so let me just give the heading as rate cafe. Now I'm going to first show you the, all the data of that cafe. So what data we are going to have? Cafe.name, cafe.phone number, and let's show one more thing, that is, uh, you know, this thing, uh, like, total number of reviews it is having. So I'm going to use paragraph and then strong, which will have name. Similarly, I'm going to have other things also, name, then phone, then total rating count, total number of ratings, total rating, total ratings. So I can have this thing, okay, from here, ejs out, which is cafe.name, correct? Similarly, I'm going to have this thing also, cafe.phone. Here I'm going to have cafe.review count, correct? Review count only, right? Not rating count. I'm just checking it out. It's review count only, correct? So let's see these details first. Then we'll add one form also to rate it, to rate this cafe. Okay, I'll just have one form also. Well, once let's check this thing. Okay, if that is working fine for me, I'll just refresh it. Let me click on any of the cafe. Rate now. So it is showing me this thing. Rate cafe. Cafe name. Phone number. Rating. Total ratings. 0. I'll add now a form where it will ask the rating from 1 to 5. Correct? First, we should make the name, phone number as capital letter. It's not looking good. Name, phone number. Okay. I'll create a form now. Again, this form is a post request it is going to do, right? So on the where it is going to do the post request on, uh, I'll create a route rate, then the ID. So which ID I'm going to use? This ID only, right? Cafe ID only. On this ID only, it is going to do the route, right? Cafe ID. We have this, right? We have this cafe ID. And what it is going to do? Method will be post. Essentially, what this form is going to do? Tell me, guys. It is going to just, ask the rating from 1 to 5, correct? So we'll just create a normal form which is going to ask the value from the 1 to 5, correct? So I'll just create a normal form that is going to ask the value from 1 to 5. Okay. So I'll just use input type number, type number. name, which is very important. Name will be rating, okay, and then min rating will be 1. I mean, it will not accept less than this, and max will be 5. Then I'll make it as required, okay, and I'll just put something like, this thing, label. Label, this label is for, I mean, I have to add the ID also then. Okay, let me just add the ID. This is for rating. Okay, and I'll put something rate it from 1 to 5. Okay, and then we'll submit it. Type submit, and I'll write submit rating. Okay, let's see how it is looking. Okay, not bad, but not good also. We'll do something. Okay, don't worry for this thing. We are going to have, like, we'll do the complete makeover of it, of this. Okay, but right now that is not our main motive. Our main motive is to learn the things. Okay, so yeah, now we need to create a post out for this, right? For this, so what we are going to do, it is going to call this post out. I have to create this post out now, right? Rate, then ID. So just now we have created the getter out for this. We'll create a post out, right? Now I'm going to create a post out for this. Okay, let me just create a post out. Okay, so I'll create a post. Okay, so again it is going to fetch the ID. Now find by ID and update. Okay, there is one more thing. What I'm going to do, I'll find it by ID, then I'll update the values. So what values I'm going to update? Okay, so one more thing I should store. Second is I should store uh, the rating that we received, right? Rating, which is what? That is something that is from the body, right? So request dot body dot rating, right? Now I have to, update two things. One is the this thing, right? Let me just open our model. This thing, review sum. So review sum will be what? Review sum will be equal to review sum plus this rating, correct? Second thing I have to update is review count, which will be equal to what? Uh, Review count plus one, right? Review count plus one. These two things I have to change, correct? Anything else that I have to change here? I guess this is something I have to change, but again, let's see if there's anything that I have to change. What do you think? I'm just thinking it loud that if I have to change anything. Okay, then let's redirect it to the home page again. Okay, response that redirect to the home page again. Now let's test this. Okay, let's test this. So I'll just start the things again. I'll just go to some cafe. Let's say I'll go to Haldiram. I'll rate it something, let's say 4. Submit rating. Okay, so it's not working. Let's see where we are doing wrong. Error. Okay, so we got some error, this error here. Now, let's see, how we can debug the things. Uh, yeah, so this is the post method that we are using, and constant ID and the constant rating. Okay, uh, what we should do, you know, we should not do these things here. Instead, I'll just, create the new variables here with the constant, uh, just a second. Yeah, so uh, it is not retrieving it actually, right? So I'll just remove it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to call const cafe. Uh, just a second. Yeah. So I'm just going to call this command later on. So first I need the values. Okay. So I'm going to call constant await uh, object dot find by ID. So first we'll have this okay with me. Once I found it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do few things. One is const uh, new sum. New sum will be what? New sum will be the old cafe dot this thing, right? Review sum plus this rating. Okay. Second thing, new count. Okay. Const new count, which will be what? Cafe dot review count plus one. Correct. Now I'm going to update the values here. So that is the review sum will be new sum. Okay. Similarly, review count. This is very basic thing, right? I mean, we are just retrieving the thing which is already there and we are just adding it. Review count, new count. All right. And then we are redirecting it. Let's see if it is working or not. Okay. It should work. See, we got the Haldiram's rating of 1. Let me give one more rating to Haldiram. Let's say 3. Some user is giving now 3. Okay. So 3 plus 1. Something weird is happening here, right? Uh, the average should be, it should be the division, right? Let me add 5 again. It is showing 145. Let me see, while showing the value, we are doing some mistake possibly. Okay. So, okay, let's see, where we are doing the mistake. So where we are showing the value, we are showing it in the home.ejs, right? We are showing the value here, review sum, the review count, okay? Review sum and the review count. And let's see how it is looking in the database, review sum and review count for the Haldirams. Haldiram review sum is 435 by something. Okay, let's see why it is coming for, like we did some mistake in, like the calculation itself here. Okay, the new sum is equal to this plus rating. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll make it parseInt. ParseInt, why? Because sometimes what happens is, these two things are inconsistent. I mean, we want both thing to be a number in the number format. Okay, so I'll use parseInt. Okay, I'll use parseInt here also. For this also, I'm going to use parseInt. For this also, I'm going to use parseInt. Okay. I'll rate some other restaurant now because that Haldiram is already corrupted. I mean, because I have to delete the Haldiram record because it will continue with this only. Then I'll just rate it Bikaner wala. Let me just rate it 3. Submit. It is showing rating as 3. What total rating 1. I'll just rate one more time. Let's say 4. Now I'm getting 3.5 average rating, which is true, right? 3 plus 4 divided by 2, correct? I'll just rate it one more time. Let's say I'm rating 4 again. I'm seeing something 3.6666. I know it's not correct. We can make it two decimals only. We'll do it later on. I'll just delete this Haldiram record because it will, it is not showing the true value now. Correct. So I'll delete the Haldiram record from here. Delete. Okay. So it will not be visible to me now. We can add again, no worries. All right. So this is one thing. Now, let's just make it, I'm not feeling it's good, right? So let's, we want to show it to the two decimals only, not more than two decimals, correct? So I'm going to use two fixed, okay? Two fixed, two. Let me just go here in the where we are showing the value. I'll put it here in the box and I'll use two fixed or two fixed. Let's put it to two decimals, okay? Let me just save and see now. Okay, two decimals, I'm getting the values, correct? Okay, okay. Now let's go to our Notion page. Till now, what we have done? We have done this. We have added, create a add page to post data. We have made changes in the post. We have done this thing. We have created a review page. We have created a route to get the review page. We have created a route to post from the review page. We have done so many things. I'll just complete it out. Okay, this thing. Now, coming to the point to beautify the things now. Okay, let's beautify. Let's beautify our code. Okay, so to beautify the code, we have to add Bootstrap, CSS, JavaScript. Correct. Uh, so what I'm going to do, okay? So I mean, maybe like you also, like me also, you are not interested a lot, to do this thing. So I'm just going to open ChatGPT and I'm going to provide my files. And I'm just going to say ChatGPT that, okay, please, process the, I mean, give me the best files, okay. Again, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to learn the Bootstrap, you are most welcome. But I don't like Bootstrap a lot. What I'm going to do, I'm just, going to pass a, command to ChatGPT that, now I'm going to give you few basic HTML pages. Use Bootstrap CSS font awesome and beautify and align them and use some consistent color palettes, okay, and add navbar and footer to it, okay. So I'll just give this thing to, uh, I'll just put something 19 June, sorry, month, which is 06 19 1999. Okay, so I'm going to give you align them properly, and use some consistent color palettes, uh, properly in center. I want things to be in center, right? It looks good. Align properly in center and footer to it. Okay, now I'll put it. So now I just have to give the EJS pages. I'm having three EJS pages with me. Let's go with the home page first. Okay. So I'm going to give the home page. Okay, let me just Control A, Control C. I'm going to provide it here. Let's see what it will do. Hopefully it will do something good. So it have provided me, it did some, Bootstrap and all these things on its own. I'll just copy and paste it there itself. Okay, again. See, I mean, once the chat GPT, it's not, it's good to use the things, correct? Because I mean, in the work, in your day-to-day work, also use Microsoft Excel. Again, it's something that will increase your productivity. So essentially, we are increasing our productivity only, right? Correct. So let me just copy it out for you, and I'll put it instead of home.ejs. Let me just put it and let's save. Let's see how it is looking now. Okay, our page, how it is looking. See, we got a wonderful page now. Correct. Okay, now I'll do the same with the other pages also. I'm having two more pages. One is the this thing, rate cafe and add cafe. Okay, let's go. Let's put the add cafe also. Control A, Control C. I'll put this. Okay, let's see how it will make. So yeah, coming to the point. Once like earlier when the Microsoft Excel came in the market, people used to think it will take the your job, it will take your work. But what happens is rather it increase the employees' productivity, correct? So similar things happens with the I mean LLMs also. So try to appreciate these things. Don't get scared of these kind of things. So okay, so add cafe. I'll just copy and I'll paste it here. Control V. Let's save and see how it is looking. I'll click on, I'll just reload it, add a new cafe, correct? It's looking good, nice. Yeah, button, you can make it larger button. It's up to you. The last page that we need is the rate now, correct? This page. So the last page, rate cafe. I'm going to control A, control C, and I am going to put it here. Yeah, so let's wait for it to write the things. Eventually the speed will increase, okay? Like right now they're using, like the processing takes time because of the processes and all, but eventually it will, these things will be even more faster. So I'll paste it here, save it. Let's see how the rate page is looking. I'll just refresh rate now. It's coming here. I'll ask to align these things to the center. Align name, phone, total rating to center. Okay. I'll just ask ChatGPT to do that. The last result, align name, phone, rating to the center of the page, like the form. Okay. So yeah, let's do it. Then after that, what we are going to do, uh, like once it is done, so we are done with the most of the things. Then we have to create a notification settings. Okay. I mean, notification means, okay, let's do this first. Control A, Control V. Okay. Sorry, Control Z. I guess stuck in between. Okay. Let me just copy it out and paste it here. Correct. Rate cafe. Control V. Control S. Let's see how the rate cafe looks now. It is looking good. Name, phone number, ratings. I have to rate now. Correct. It's looking nice. I'll rate something. Let's say I'll rate Domino's 4. Submit rating. It is showing right 4 here. Total rating of Domino's is 4. Correct. Okay. Now, see, I just rated, right? But I'm still not seeing a message, a successful message or something, right? I'm not seeing anything. So we need to do something for that. We need to do something, notification logic that I have to create. So if you remember in the starting, we have, if you see the package.json, we have imported Express session. So I'll create a session. Session will store the informations. Okay, from the post it will store the information. Let's say if I did something correctly, right, in the try block, so it will store that information and we can use it to render it on the page. Okay, so I'll just use it. So I'll just create it. uh, Const session is equal to required. Okay, now I have to declare it. I mean, I have to, so the session thing, again, you can see the documentations also, or I mean, in my page also, I have, put this thing. So how you can create it? There is this, page which is associated with this. Just a second. Sessions. Yeah, you need to copy this thing, two things. And always remember these two middlewares. I mean, you have to use this. You have to, you can, just, I mean, this is something that you have to use. That's how the session is being, coded. So these two middlewares should always be put before the other middlewares like body passes and all, else it will not work. Okay, you have to put it before the other middlewares. Remember this thing. Now this thing is going to store the data for me, request session dot message. Okay, so I have to use this. So whenever, let's say I am making a post request, I'll just go to route.js Here I'm making a post request for the review. Okay, like once the review is added successfully, so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to write a message here. So I'll do something here. Okay, so type is, it's a success, right? I mean, why I'm doing the success, failure and all, because I can pass this thing and I can change the color accordingly. Okay, anyways, and some message also. I'll just write a message or info you have rated successfully, rated, you have rated. Okay, you have rated successfully. Now this thing will be there. Okay, this thing will be there for me, so I have to use it in the main dot. So once I have this thing, right, in the home.ejs, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this if condition, that if the message is there, if that message is there, I'll put something here. Okay, before the this thing, ejs if message is there, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a div. Okay, which will be of alert type. This is a bootstrap. Okay, I mean, these alerts and all, it is there in the bootstrap. Again, you need to learn the bootstrap, to do this fancy things. Okay, so I am going to give the alert success. Okay, they have some different types, success, failures and all. Okay, then uh, yeah, what I'm going to show the message here, which message I'm going to show, that message only. So what I'm going to show here, I'm going to show that message.info. Okay, so let's see how it is looking. Okay, let's see how it is looking, then we'll modify it. Okay, let me just go there, home page again. I'll just I'll just rate something. I'll just rate Bikaner wala again. I'll just rate it 5. Submit rating. You have rated successfully, but I'm not getting the things like I have to cross it and do some other things. I'm not getting that. Also, I am putting this thing success, right? If you see this thing, alert success. See, the reason why I passed this, right? Why I passed this? Let's say in some cases you want to show the danger. Okay, danger. Danger means, I mean, it will show in the red color. These again, these are the bootstrap things. Okay, so I'll just rate something again. I'll just rate Bikaner wala again. I'll rate it as 3. Submit rating. It is showing red because I made it, but I want this thing to be, come from the message itself, because the message that I have defined here in the routes, right? It is success. So I want to retrieve this so that, even in future, let's say if something is not working fine, I can define in the else part something, in the failure also. Okay. So let's, get this thing from the from here itself. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to use message dot type, correct? Okay. Again, there is no option to cross and all. So for that, I have a code which is ready with me. I'll use that code itself. So just a second. There is this code. Just a second. Okay. In the so this is our project. So yeah. So there is this code. I'm going to copy and I'm going to replace it with the code that just I have written, right? This one. So it will make it. It will beautify. The same thing it is doing. It is using some classes. Okay, and a close button and all. It is going to use. Okay, and again it requires some JavaScript and CDN library that I have to get it from here. There is this library that we need, a Bootstrap, one CSS and one JavaScript that we need. I'll just copy it out. I'll just copy all the 3. Okay, the JavaScript is always, you should put it in the bottom. Okay, we'll change it. Just a second. JavaScript one. I'll just copy it out. Control X. Okay, I'll just remove it from here. I'll put the JavaScript in the end. Okay, with the other JavaScripts. Let me just save it and show you how it is looking. Okay, rate now. I'll rate something. Let's say 5, 4. Okay, it is showing some issue. It is having some issue. Uh, let's see what is the issue that it is having. We are putting the JavaScript at the bottom and the uh, these two fonts on the top, correct? Uh, this is the font awesome. This is the and it is the message that we are showing. Okay, so guys, it is not the message, it's message.info, right? I mean, because in the object we are having two things. One is the type and second is the info, correct? Let me just save and see. I'll just rerun it. Rate. I'll just rate Domino's as 2. You have rated successfully. Okay. So I can cross it also. Okay. Similarly, I'll add it while adding a new cafe also. Okay. I'll add this thing. I mean, I don't have to do this here, but in the route, I have to just add that part. Okay. In the routes, this thing I have to add in the route of the add. Correct. Yeah. Here I have to add it. Instead of logs, I'll put it here. You have added a new cafe successfully. Correct. Okay. Perfect. Now we are done with the this thing also. I'll just back notification, create a session, pass the pass value on the post request, render it in EJS file, correct CDN. Okay, so these are done. Minor enhancement, that is decimal correction. We already did, right? We used two fixed to two decimals, correct? Okay, now two things are left. One is the Git repo creation, and the last is the deployment. We want to deploy it, right, on the on a some link that so that you can access it from. I mean, you or your interviewer or anyone can access it, right? So those two things are left now that we are going to cover. I hope you are really enjoying the session till now. Okay, and yeah, let's cover these things then: Git repository and the deployment part. Yeah, so let's start with creating the Git repository for our project. But before that, I just want to make few changes. Okay, the minimal changes I want to make here, like we added a git ignore file, so I need to specify what files that I need to ignore while pushing my code on the GitHub. Why I want to ignore that file? Because that is something that should be set by user. Okay, not, I mean, that differs from user to user, correct? So I'll enter this node modules because once, let's say, you clone the project, you need to like initialize. I mean, this file should be auto created once you do the npm init and all these things. So I'll just put node modules here. Okay, that is one thing. Second, I want to ignore .env file. Okay, so these two files I'll ignore. Now one more thing. So if you look our application, uh, it is having the first, that is something which is added for the first time is coming here, then it is showing like I am going to add a new cafe, then it will come here in the last, right? I want to make it from top to bottom because the new cafe should be added on the top. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just run the loop in the reverse direction. Okay, let's go there in our home.ejs, and here I'm running from index from I'll run it from -1 to I'll run it till index is greater than equal to 0 and index minus minus. Now it will show me the in the reverse direction. Okay, let's see how it is visible here. Okay, it is in the reverse direction, but IDs I want from 1 to 5 only. Okay, I mean, I want it 1 2 3 4 only, so I'll need to create a new variable. For that, I'll create a new variable here on the, okay, let me initialize a new variable here, percentage. I'll let count is equal to 1. I'll start as 1, the count value. Okay. Okay. I'll put the count here only, plus plus, so that it will increase. The count value will increase as we move ahead. Okay, but the increase operation will not work here because we are using it. So I'll use count here, and at the end I'll increase the count value. Okay, somewhere I'll increase the count value here, count plus plus something. Okay, let's see if it is working or not. Okay, it is showing something. Let me just see what is happening. Okay, so it is printing that value also. Okay, let me just correct the things now. I'll remove it. Okay, I'll remove it. Or maybe I can just make it like this so that it will not print it actually. Okay. Okay. So it's coming fine, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, let's add a new cafe. I'll just give some cafe name. If you have any good name, you can suggest, but let me just add something. MacD. Okay. MacD is a cafe. I'll put some number 1800 111 222. Okay. Add it. So it is added. Now it is coming on the top. Now let's say I'm going to deploy this code on some link, and in future I'm going to have 1000 2000 restaurants here. I don't want to show all the restaurant. It is just for the demo purpose. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just put the last 10 entries here. Okay. Last 10 entries I'm going to put. So I'll just put a condition in the for loop that index should be greater than equal to 10, and this count should be less than equal to 10. Okay. So that if it is having more than 10 values, it will not show it to you. Okay, I mean it will show the recent 10 values only to you. I'm just doing this for the sake of database. Okay, I mean because I mean like it will either I should include introduce that pagination here, that it should create a pages 1 2 3 4 5 6. See, because if I click on run button and it is trying to load 10,000 data. Okay, so it will make my home page slow. Okay, so I don't want to do that thing to be happen. Okay, so yeah, anyways, we have done. Now I should rate MACD something. I'll rate it 5. You have rated successfully. I got the rating of 5. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to GitHub. Okay, let's do the deployment part. Okay, I mean first we'll need to create a GitHub repository. So I'll go to GitHub. Not this one. I'll go to GitHub. I need to sign up. Okay. I mean I don't know. You guys have used the GitHub before, so I'll use. I mean I'm just using everything from scratch. Okay, for you. At gmail.com. I'll just create some password for me. Username, I'll put some username. I'll put webhub goel 2024 only. Okay. It's up to you whether you want to receive their things or not. Verify. Something I have to do. Let's do this. Submit. Now I should go to my Gmail to verify my account, I guess. Let's see what they're asking. Yeah, so I'll save it. Just a second. Okay, now I should go here. Not here. GitHub. Okay, so it's just me. Are you a student teacher? I'll put something not applicable. Okay, I'm just selecting something random. Okay, okay. So we'll use the free version. Okay, so now I have to create a Git repository. So I'll create it with the name of cafe app. Okay, description, an application, a web app for cafes. Okay, I'll make it public. README file, if you want to ignore, if you want to include, so README file, just you can put some information in the README file. Okay, the license I'll put MIT. Create repository. So my repository is now created. So now I have to push the code from my local to this repository. Okay, let's see how we can do that. First, I need to do the. I'll open one more terminal this code is running here. So I'll open one more terminal, let it open. So I'll use git init. Okay. So it is using git init. Now see, the thing is, if you're doing the git thing for the first time, you need to set two variables. One is the username, second is the email ID you have to set. Okay. So I'll just show you how to set. There is this thing. You can go here, you can config. I mean, see, the thing is, there is two kind of, username. Okay, one is the global. The global is I do some development and all, so I set it there itself. But for this repository, I created a new GitHub, right? So I'll set up there itself. Okay, so I'll use username webhub goel 2024. Okay, for this specific repository. Okay, I'll put the email also. Just a second. Okay. So these are the username and the email I set. Now I did the git init. Now I need to add all the files. Okay, let's see the git status. What all files we have to add. So I'll do git add. It will automatically ignore the files which is there in the git ignore, by the way. Okay, so I'll add git add. Then I'll do git commit -m. So here you have to put the commit message something. Okay, I'll use initial commit. Okay, so it have stacked all my changes here. Now what I have to do, I have to push it to the remote, right? So I'll just copy it, remote add origin. Okay, and then I have to go here in our git repository that we have created. So I'll copy the this https link from here, and I'll just enter. Okay, now this is done. So at last what we have to do, we just have to push our code. Okay, so if you go here, then you have to push our code. So it will create a branch master from the origin. It will push the code. Okay, now it is showing that because I've already used webhook 199606 as my this thing. Okay, I mean, I'm already using some other I have to validate this thing also. Okay, I have to validate the newly created GitHub, that is for this GitHub webhook GoL 2024. So let me just configure it. You'll not face this problem. Okay, I'm facing because I'm using two GitHub for my PC. Okay, just a second, I'll configure it out. Okay guys, so I was having some permission issue. I just added my second collaborator as me only, and I push the code in the master. Okay, so if I go to the master now, okay, let me just go to the cafe app. In the main branch we don't have anything. In the master branch I'm having the whole code. Okay, the one which I we developed, right? Have you noticed that there is no getting no I mean there is no .env and like git modules, the node modules there, right? There is no node modules and env file because we have entered it in the git ignore, correct? That's why it's not here. Remember it, it's not here. Okay, you have to create it once if you are cloning the project itself. Okay, all right, so that is one thing. Now let's see how we can do the deployment. So before that, I'll just mark this thing as completed. Okay, git repository creation is done. Again, it's in the master, not in main. Okay, main is empty. All right, now to deploy it, I'll use render. Okay, render is one platform where we can host our application for free. It's a server where we can host it for free. Okay, so I'm going to log in through Google. We can log in through Google. Sorry, why I canceled it. Anyways, I'll need to re-log in it, re-sign in. Okay, let me just sign in again. I'll try to sign up with GitHub. Let's see. Okay, whatever works for us. Create an account. They must have sent some verification to me. Let me refresh. Okay, now our account is created on render. There is this option web services. I'll open it. I'll build and deploy from Git repository. So I need to connect my GitHub. It's up to you whether you want to give access to all your GitHub repository or the selected one. I'll just give the selected one. I'll select the repository, this one, Cafe app, and I'll install. Okay. So this repository is now there. Okay, guys, before doing so, there is one more very important thing that I have to do. Okay. Before putting it on anything, uh, I have to do one thing, which is very important. I'll just edit here. Whitelist my IP. Whitelist IP for database. When we have created our Mongoose database, we have used a specific IP address, which is our own IP address, right? I need to give it access to all the IP addresses. So there is this thing, network access. I'll go here. I'll use I'll use IP address, allow access from everywhere. Okay, so it will use 0000. So what it will do, I don't, I mean, now since we are putting it on the some other server, right? We don't know its IP address and all. I'll give it access to all the IP addresses. Okay, this is something I have to do, and it is very important. Okay, so it is taking a bit time. Anyways, I'll just mark it as completed. Okay, now again, I'll go to this thing, render, and I'll connect. Click on connect. Service name, I'll give cafe web service, and I'll make it server to Singapore, which is the nearest one, and the branch is in master. This is a source directory. The build command is I'm going to use npm install. Okay, and we know how to start it. We'll use node main.js because it's in the main.js. I'll click on free variables. I'll put port and port value. Let's say any port value I can give, or I can give the same port value also, which is this one, right? Let's see what port value we have given already. Uh, 4005, correct? I'll give 405. Also, I'm going to add connect string and the value. Let me just copy it out. And remember, while copying the value, you have to copy this value only. You can skip the inverted commas. It will put it on its own. Okay. So yeah, I'll put it. So I guess we are done. I'll just uh, click on create web service. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So it started the deployment. You see the logs. The logs will come here, and while getting the logs and the things, I'll do few things from my end, which is I'll unmark all these things so that you can use the same, and you can clone the this notion file, and you can follow the same path while creating this project. Okay, let me just unmark all the things for you. And yeah, so once it is unmarked, you can with every points, I've even given some code snippets also that will be helpful for you, and some comments also. Okay, so let me just move it from here. Okay, and hopefully deployment will be done very soon. So build successful, deployment is happening. uh, so deployment is also getting almost done. Oh, our project is live now. Let's open and see how it is looking on the web. Perfect, it's looking very nice. We can use it. Okay. uh, there is some issue with the MACD rating. Maybe I have put something while doing some of the testing part. I'll remove this MACD. Okay. So let me just remove MACD from, again, this is very important, guys. Okay, make it uh, 000, because let's say even if in the development also our IP address keep changing. Okay, so it is suggested that you should make it always IP address, just go to network access and make it generic so that anyone can use it. Anyways, so let me just remove MACD for like, because it is having like some bad data. Okay, let me just remove MACD from the PC. uh, MACD, where it is. Okay, let me just remove it, delete. Okay, let's see now how our application is looking. It's on the local host, by the way. On the PC, how it is looking. Cafe web services. Let me just refresh. Okay, let's add something. Okay, I'll add maybe uh, I'm not getting the cafe's name. I'll add Emmy's Cafe. I'll put some mobile number to it. I've added the cafe, Emmy's Cafe, not rated yet. Let's rate something. I'll rate Pizza Hut to be, it's not good, I know. So I'll rate it 2. I'll submit. So I got the 2 rating. Okay, so it's working fine now. Okay, now you have the whole Notion link with you. Please go and see it. The last part, what is next? Okay, so we'll see what you guys can do next. So you guys can, introduce JWT, okay, JavaScript web token or passport.io to create a login logout session so that you can do some specific task like if you want, if any user want to edit or delete the restaurant which he have created only, right? So that you can do by login and register. You can even put the review, I mean, the actual reviews, the text reviews also. These things you can do. You can introduce pagination. So right now we don't have any pages here. I want pages to be here. Let's say we are having so many reviews, so I want the pages to be there, correct? So that you can introduce pagination. You can introduce then socket.io. This is again one of the thing that we use in the uh, node. So if you want to create a serverless application, I mean, like where user can chat, okay? So yeah, it's a kind of tunnel that it will. So it's a good thing actually, socket.io you should use to create a live chat option. Then React.js you can use, or Next.js maybe, and then introduce email service. Let's say if someone is adding one cafe or someone is creating the sign up, he should have this thing. Okay, try to host it on AWS. It's more in demand, right? Or try to now there is one more thing, like right now, even if I'll try to add one more cafe with the same mobile number, it will get added, right? But I don't want to do that because there should be some uniqueness, right? I mean, if the cafe is already there, I don't want to add it. You can do that very quickly, okay? Even you can do it from the post route itself. So in the post route, what you have to do, you have to while we are doing the post route on the ad, you just check it if the number exists or not in the database. If it is there, just I'll just show you here itself. Okay, so we have the route.js, and here it is the add post route, right? So you can just check it. So we get a number also from the request. Just check that number if it is already there in the database. If it is there, you can redirect to the home page again without adding the things, and you can show it says info, and you can show that info will make it blue, okay? And just show that the cafes already exist in the database, okay? And you can even put the cafe name also, so it will be visible to user, okay? So yeah, that's what you can do. Again, there are endless possibilities. You can do so many things. Now, the last and which is the most important part, how to add this project in your resume, okay? Because since you have created and done everything with the project, so let's see how you can add it in the resume. So I've put all the points here in the Notion itself. So you can refer these points, how we can add this project. Obviously, put the link also, okay? Because link is very important. Okay, and if you want to do the check marks and all, you need to clone the project. Okay, you can sign in and clone this thing. Okay, and you can utilize it. One more suggestion, like I've created a restaurant reviews, you can create something else. Okay, don't create the same kind of project. Maybe you can create a portal where user can search for the job or something like that. Okay, I'm just giving some rough ideas to you. And yeah, so we are done. This is our project live. Okay, and yeah, see you guys then. Bye.
Hi guys, I hope you like the video, and I'm having 3 announcements to make here. The first announcement is do join the Discord group that I mentioned earlier also, so that we can conduct live classes based on this project and whatever projects that we are going to do in the future, and those classes will be free of cost. Also, let's say if there's any doubt or question query, you can ask me there itself on the Discord. Okay, that is the first thing. Second, after the end of every month, I'm going to conduct a giveaway. So who developed this project nicely, I mean the enhanced version of this project, okay? Like you can add new features. I already told you the features that you can add. So if you developed a new project based on this project, so I'm going to give away free enrollment in the Gamma Prep Bootcamp, okay? So I'll tell you more about the bootcamp after this announcement. And the third, which is very important, is we are going to upload the sessions on system design, high level, low level designs, machine coding round, whatever is required for 2024 to crack the interviews in the good product based companies. So all things will be there itself. So do join the Discord group and subscribe this channel. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the bootcamp that you are going to get as a part of a giveaway is the Gamma Prep Bootcamp, where I'm the mentor, and other mentors are also there. They are from Google and Oracle. I'm from the Oracle, by the way, and other mentors are from Mastercard and other good companies. Okay, so you are going to cover everything which is required to crack your interviews. So, okay, so you are going to cover the complete full stack development, data science analytics, and the most important data structures and algorithm. We are going to cover so many things, and if you submit the given project nicely, you are going to get this bootcamp for free, one person every month. And as a part of this bootcamp, you are going to get the referrals also. That will be the short referrals from our side, and so many other helps that you are going to get. You can visit here on Gamma Prem and you can check the things there itself. Thank you, guys.